Hello you guys, welcome back to the series where I test viral TikTok DIYs. Today in episode 3 we are making clay rings. I've seen them everywhere and I really want to make some, so let's get started. Alright, so we are starting off with some oven baked clay. I use a mixture of Primo, Sculpey, and Fimo. They all have different baking times though, so I would be careful with that, but starting off with ring number 1. I am starting off with some pink Sculpey clay. Just take a good amount. It's always better to do more than less, and I'm going to roll it up into a ball. Sculpey is pretty easy to maneuver with, so this one should be pretty easy for you guys if you are using Sculpey, but then I am rolling it out. I just used a marker. You can use literally anything to roll it out, and then we are going to cut it into an even long rectangle. Cut it as thin as you want. Honestly, if I could do it again, I would go even thinner, but then I measured it around my finger. I always went for a bit bigger than my finger just in case it shrinks, and then try and blend out the seams as much as you can. It's kind of hard without getting too many fingerprints or squishing it too much because Sculpey is pretty soft, but do your best. I believe in you. And then we're going to take some red clay, and I just made 6 tiny little red balls, and I made little hearts out of them. If you're having trouble, you can just get a toothpick and make an indent at the top and then form the heart around it. It's kind of hard when they're super small, but you got this. Continue to make as many as you need, and then we are going to start attaching them to the ring. I like to put the ring on my finger just because it provides more stableness so you don't squish your actual ring, but then don't be afraid to push them on hard because they will fall off, trust me, unless you actually glaze it or put resin on top. But don't be afraid to apply pressure because you don't want your little cute hearts to fall off your ring. But after that I applied all 6, and look at that, it's so cute. I love it. Alright, so for ring number 2, this one is super simple and easy. We're going to start off with some white Primo clay and then take a good amount, and then like always we're just going to roll it into a ball to condition it and soften it. Then I am taking a blade and cutting it in half. We are going to get 2 accurate separate balls, and then we're gonna make a coil with both of them and just try and make them as even as possible to both of them. Eventually you will have 2 separate coils, and then we're going to intertwine them together. I just pinched them a bit to stay together, and then you're going to start twisting. Personally, I like tighter twists just because they look nicer when you start to make the ring, but it's personally up to you. Do whatever you please. Once it was long enough, I then just started to size it around my finger and then just pinch it, and then we're going to take a blade and cut it off. And then like always, do your best to seam it out nicely. We don't like harsh edges, but if you have a harsh edge, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Because white clay gets super dirty and picks up a ton of dust, wipe it down with an alcohol wipe if you can. And then there you go, you got yourself a cute little twisted ring. I love this one. And now on to ring number 3. We are starting off with some green Sculpey clay, and then we're just going to take a good amount. You want a lot for this one, and then we're going to round it out into a little coil and soften it. Next, I am just adjusting it to my finger size, and then we are just cutting it, and then as always, we are smoothing it and rounding it out. I'm then just taking an extra scrap piece of some green clay, the exact same color, and I'm putting it into 2 little balls and rounding them out. These are going to be its little eyeballs. Try and make them the same size if you can. And then we're just going to flatten them a bit, not too flat because they will snap off, but keep them about keep them pretty thick, and then we're going to attach them to the band. You can place these anywhere. I try and hide any imperfections with the eyes, so I just put them in a kind of bad spot to cover it up. But anyways, I just put the ring on my fingers so I can play around with it and apply pressure without it breaking. And then we're just going to grab some pink clay, use the smallest amount. This is just going to be blush, but you want it to be pretty small, so just keep breaking up balls of clay into tiny little pieces. Even this one was a bit too big, but anyways, you're just going to place these besides the eye, and then we're going to take some black clay and take the smallest amount. We just need 2 little black dots for the eyes, and just place them on top of the little green balls we made earlier. For its mouth, we are using a super thin black coil, and you're going to place it in between the eyes for its cute little mouth, a little smile, and wipe it down with alcohol, and you got yourself a cute little frog ring. Alright, so this next one is super cute. We're going to make a little cookie. So we're starting off with aluminum foil, and you're just going to want to crush this into a little ball and then open it later. And then we're going to grab some tan Primo clay. I actually really like Primo clay. This one's really nice. It's thicker and like doesn't like soften as much. But anyways, make this into a pretty thick coil. Size it up to your finger. We're then going to take a toothbrush, not the one you use, just any spare toothbrush or anything with texture, and literally just smack it. Like, you know, just, you need texture. This is going to be a cookie. And then having the crumpled up tin foil at the bottom also provides even more texture when you flip it around. Make sure to also do the inside of the little cookie as well. Don't forget that, or it's going to look weird. And then we are going to pull out some soft pastels. I am going to be using the orange color and the brown color. I'm just using my blade to get some up. And then I'm taking a little paintbrush, mixing the orange and brown, and we're going to start painting or like coloring the clay, you know, adding some shading because it is going to be a toasted, cooked cookie, you know, you don't want it to be pale. Make sure you're shading the top and bottom and the insides of the cookie as well. And then we're going to take some brown clay, and you don't need too much, just like this amount is fine. And we're going to be breaking it up into tiny little pieces. Literally, you can like free for all with this. These are going to be the chocolate chips. You can make them as messy as you want, but make sure you apply them on the inside, outside, and the bottom. And then we are going to be using another ball of tin foil and just literally like go ham on this, like push your tin foil into the clay. It's just going to provide even more texture. And then grab the toothbrush again. Honestly, texture is your best friend for these. You can make them as messy as you want. And then I even grabbed a little toothpick and started picking away at the chocolate chip brown stuff, and yeah, you got yourself a little cookie. Alright, so this last one is probably the absolute favorite one I made. We're starting off with white and pink clay, and I mixed them together into a little ball, kind of for like a tie-dye effect, except it didn't really come out as a tie-dye effect, but you know, I tried. Anyways, we're just going to once again roll this into a coil and size it around your finger, and then you're just going to cut it down and blend out the seams. Off camera, I basically just made a little round circle, and I am attaching it to the ring we just made. This is pretty simple. Literally just make a circle and apply pressure and attach them, and there we go. And then off camera again, I decided to make two little cherries. They're a little decoration, but this one is pretty cute. Alright, so now it's time to bake them, and because I used two different types of clay, they both had different times to stay in the oven. I kind of just estimated it and kept checking in on them. So both of them had 275 Fahrenheit as the heat temperature, and then I just put those in. I set my timer for 15 minutes, but I actually kept them in for 23, and it was good for all of them baked evenly. And then we take them out, and then I let them cool for around like 20 to 30 minutes. I then wanted mine to be a bit more shiny and durable, so I used some Sculpey gloss glaze just to glaze them to make them look shiny, and then they can hold up against like water and just like your skin oils and stuff, just a tad more than normal, and they like are less prone to breaking. So I just painted it on and I let them dry in between. I did 2 coats for each of them. Alright, and here are the results. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. It will help me out a ton, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!